the LG 34U-M67. Well, we actually got a few of them because one's going to be for pistol. I'm going to use one for some things, and we've got 3 of them anyway. So we decided to go ahead and grab 2 of the 290X cards that we have just hanging out. We've got the 290X Vapor X with 8 gigabytes of memory, and we also have the Tri-X. That one's got 4 gigabytes of memory, and we decided to crossfire those and play a few games just for the hell of it. I mean, we're just goofing off here. But I guess in this video, I'm just going to talk about the experience of extreme widescreen gaming. I'll mention a few, just rough benchmarks and that sort of thing. But it's really going to be just about, how the experience was with these 3 monitors. So first off, I mean, you guys can go and watch the full review on these monitors over on the hardware channel, and there's a link right here on the screen, so you guys can go watch that. In this video, we're not going to get into too many of the specifics as far as, FreeSync, the specifications, and all of the LG technologies. All we're really going to talk about is just us goofing off for a few minutes with 3 of these things. And then I'll tell you if I think that you guys should do it. So in order to make this work in some games like Skyrim, you have to go and edit INI files. But after you do that, it's pretty easy. You'll notice that the edges in some of the games start to really get stretched. It starts to really distort the image, but you're focused on the screen in front of you, so it's sort of like your periphery. And when playing Skyrim, I'm playing it and Albert's behind me shooting the video, and he's like, "All right, dude, you can just do this. Let's get the next game. Let's move on to something else." And I'm like, hold on a minute. It just really had an interesting feeling, like you're in the woods, because you've already got the huge 21:9 screen in front of you, right? And that's going to be enough for most people. But having the 2 on the side just made it felt like you were in some kind of simulator almost. I mean, it's not an Oculus Rift, but it's still pretty crazy. I wonder if we could tape these to our face. One thing I want to mention about Skyrim. So I tried this with Tamriel Reloaded, the HD texture pack that installs everything. We installed all of that, right? We had a few other just minor texture packs to cover things like I think we're using Verdant Grass, the Flora Overhaul mod, and then we were using Real Clouds and an EMB. So we tried this with 2 different EMBs. The first EMB was Seasons of Skyrim, and that's the EMB that Spanx put on the machine. We basically just stole his installation. So listen, the resolution is 7680 by 1080. So with an EMB, texture mods, 7680 by 1080, we were getting about 35 to 38 FPS. Oh, we're also using the Bigger Trees mod, which really can tax the the FPS. Getting like 30, I mean, you're right, depending on what part of the world you're in. You can benchmark this in Fall Creek and get like 30 FPS, but you benchmark it near Windhelm and you're getting like 36, 38 FPS. I think I'm going to say that that's the 290X with the 8 gigabytes of memory. It really, really needs a lot of memory when you're running this many mods and at that crazy resolution. So I installed my EMB, which is a little heavier. I use Potpourri Morningstar. And with mine, I was averaging around 29 FPS in most places. To me, that's still really impressive that this graphics card can even do more than 5 FPS. I really, really, really think it's the frame buffer. It's also a beefy card, but having that large frame buffer helps. Next up, we did try Max Payne, and Max Payne was a hell of a lot of fun running around. In that game, it didn't even bother anything. It was like 90, 100 FPS at all times. And then the same was true for Trine. It basically pegged, Trine has a 100 FPS cap, it pegged the 100 FPS cap with all 3 of these screens, 7680 by 1080. So Crossfire really, really made gaming at extreme resolutions possible. Now the question I'm going to answer right now is should you do something like this? Say you got a ton of money burning a hole in your pocket and you want to do like 3 of these things. You know what? Why not? Sure, just go ahead and grab 3 of these. However, I think there's a better solution here, probably a more frugal solution. I would stick with IPS panels because the LG is a beautiful IPS panel with really nice color reproduction. So what I would probably do is grab one of those for the center screen, and then use that one as your primary display. And then on the sides, I would probably put 2 1080p displays. The beautiful thing is that the vertical resolution is still going to be 1080p. So as your mouse moves from one to the other, it's going to be, just pixel to pixel perfect as you're moving around the screens. When you jump from one monitor to the other, it's going to be nice. The other thing that's really nice is the bezel is extremely thin on this. It's not the thinnest I've ever seen. It's not bezel-less or anything like that, but it's very small. So when you do put them together side by side, there's not a huge black border in between all of them. So get that, get a couple of 1080 displays for your side, and then you'll have a very interesting experience. I also want to mention that games like Shadowrun, we played some Shadowrun Dragonfall on this. That was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had with multi-monitor gaming. It really opens up the game world. I thought it would be really good for immersive FPS games, but in Shadowrun, as your characters move about the world, it basically just extends the canvas to all three. And let's say you click on something over here. Well, your character will walk from one monitor to the other one and keep going, and you can use WAS to move the map around and that sort of thing. So I could be using WAS to move things around as I've got characters moving around, and as they move from one screen to the other, I found myself actually truly using every monitor. It's one of the coolest experiences I've had, and now I kind of want to go back to it just so I can play games like Shadowrun. And I haven't tried too many other strategy games, but I'm hoping that there's other strategy games out there that truly support resolutions like this. It's good to see an indie game like that was backed by Kickstarter come out and do such a good job with multi-monitor gaming. Just really cool. I'm over here now, and then my character's in the middle screen. Okay, I've moved over here and I'm going to open this door, and then something's going on this screen. It was pretty freaking cool. It's made me want to put together an Eyefinity setup, so I'll probably be doing that soon. That's kind of my next thing I'm going to do. I'm not going to keep this set up because I'm going to allocate the monitors to different places, but since they're here, I figured we'd play with them. Alright, anyway, now you guys should go watch the full video. We talk about FreeSync, we talk about the technology, we talk about the response time, the input lag. Everything is in that video. So go check that one out and let us know what you thought of this ridiculous nonsense that we did. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. So guys, let us know what you think. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, our hardware channel, and if you're into Linux, check out that channel as well. Linux was just fine with this resolution. We did try it out in Linux, and even some Linux gaming, totally fine with this resolution as long as you have your GPU drivers installed. Alright guys, we'll see you next time.